It was a sultry summer evening, the kind that made the air feel thick and heavy, wrapping around you like a warm blanket. I had just come home from work, weary and craving relaxation. As I moved through the house, I noticed the stillness. My stepson Alex was home, but the house was eerily quiet. It was a stark contrast to the usual laughter and chatter that filled our space. Curiosity piqued. I headed towards his room. The door was slightly ajar, and I could see the soft glow of his desk lamp spilling out into the hallway. I knocked lightly, my heart racing slightly for reasons I couldn't quite pinpoint. When no answer came, I pushed the door open a bit wider. The sight before me was unexpected. Alex, sprawled across his bed, was sound asleep. The summer heat had caused him to shed his shirt, revealing the toned, lean physique of a young man. My breath caught in my throat as I took in the sight. He looked so peaceful, so vulnerable, but there was an undeniable attraction that sparked within me, igniting feelings I had tried to keep at bay. As I stood there, I noticed that he had kicked the sheets off his legs, leaving him exposed in a way that sent a rush of heat coursing through my body. I couldn't help but admire the way his body was sculpted, the muscles taut and glistening slightly in the dim light. I felt a flutter in my stomach, a mix of intrigue and excitement. I quickly shook my head, trying to dispel these thoughts. After all, he was my stepson. Yet there was a pull that was hard to resist. I felt a heat rising within me, a forbidden thrill that sent my mind spiraling. Memories of the countless moments we shared flickered through my mind. The laughter, the late-night talks, the bond we had developed over time. But this was different. This was something that felt dangerously close to crossing a line. As I watched him sleep, I couldn't help but imagine what it would be like to touch him, to feel his warm skin against mine. It was a thought that made my heart race, sending an electric thrill through my veins. I felt a desperate urge to reach out, to bridge the gap between us that had always been so carefully maintained. I knew I shouldn't feel this way, that it was wrong on so many levels, yet the allure was undeniable. Just then, Alex stirred, shifting in his sleep. My heart pounded louder, echoing in my ears as I held my breath, afraid to make a sound. He turned slightly, his eyes fluttering open to meet mine, and for a brief moment, time stood still. There was a flicker of surprise in his gaze, quickly replaced by something more intense, a mix of confusion and desire. "What are you doing here?" he asked, his voice low and husky, laced with sleep. I could feel the tension in the air thickening, wrapping around us like a heavy fog. I just wanted to check on you," I stammered, my cheeks flushing as I tried to regain my composure. The atmosphere was charged, electric, and I couldn't shake the feeling that we were teetering on the edge of something monumental. "I didn't mean to fall asleep," he replied, running a hand through his tousled hair, revealing the sharp lines of his jaw and the intensity of his gaze. "I was just thinking." There was an intensity in his eyes that made my heart race. It was as if he could see through me, piercing straight to my soul. I took a step closer, unable to resist the magnetic pull between us. "What were you thinking about?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper, my heart pounding in my chest. He hesitated, the air around us thick with unspoken words and desires. "About you," he finally admitted, and my breath caught in my throat. "Me? Yeah," he said, sitting up in bed, the sheets slipping down his torso, revealing more of his skin. "You've always been there for me, and I—" His voice trailed off, and I could feel the weight of his gaze on me, searching, questioning. My heart raced as I processed his words. The room felt smaller, the distance between us shrinking with each passing moment. It was as if the universe had conspired to bring us to this very moment. The heat between us intensified, and I could no longer deny the magnetic pull. "I care about you, Alex," I said softly, my voice trembling with the weight of my confession. "More than I should." His eyes darkened, the desire evident in his gaze. "What do you mean?" he asked, inching closer, the tension palpable. "It's complicated," I replied, my heart racing. The forbidden nature of our connection weighing heavily on my mind. "Complicated can be good," he said, his voice low and enticing, sending shivers down my spine. Before I could respond, he closed the gap between us, his breath warm against my skin. In that moment, I knew we had crossed a line, but the thrill of the unknown beckoned to me. I felt alive, electrified by the risk, the passion that surged between us. As he reached out, brushing his fingers against my arm, a spark ignited. I could feel the heat radiating off him, pulling me closer, drawing me into his world. I was lost in his gaze, unable to look away, as if the universe had faded away, leaving just the two of us suspended in time. "What if we explored this?" he whispered, his voice thick with anticipation, and I felt a rush of excitement coursing through me. The idea was thrilling and terrifying all at once, but I knew I couldn't turn back now. I nodded slowly, my heart pounding as I took his hand, feeling the warmth of his skin against mine. In that moment, the world outside faded away, leaving just us, wrapped in the heat of our desires and the thrill of the unknown. As we leaned closer, our lips brushed softly at first, a tentative exploration that quickly ignited into something more fervent, more desperate. I could feel the weight of our actions, the consequences lingering in the back of my mind, but the thrill of the moment eclipsed everything else. We lost ourselves in the heat of the moment, surrendering to the emotions that have been simmering beneath the surface for so long. It was a connection unlike anything I had ever experienced, a melding of souls that transcended the boundaries we had built. As we pulled away, breathless and wide-eyed, I knew we had crossed into uncharted territory, but the exhilaration of it all left me craving more. I was ready to embrace the wild, unexpected journey ahead of us, no matter where it led. In that dimly lit room, as the summer night wrapped around us, I realized that sometimes the most beautiful connections arise from the most unexpected places. It was a thrilling beginning to a story that would unfold in ways we could never have imagined. And as I looked into his eyes, I knew we would explore every twist and turn together, come what may. As the moments of lingering silence stretched between us, the world outside faded further away, and the chaos of our lives seemed a distant memory. My heart raced, the thrill of the unknown coursing through my veins. I could feel Alex's gaze on me, a mixture of awe and desire that made my pulse quicken. "Are you sure about this?" I asked, my voice barely more than a whisper. I needed to know that we were both on the same page, that this was a mutual desire, not just a fleeting moment. He nodded, his eyes intense and earnest. "I've wanted this for a long time. I didn't know how to tell you," he confessed, his voice thick with emotion. The weight of his words settled around us like a heavy fog, deepening the connection we shared. I felt a rush of emotions, relief, excitement, and a hint of fear. The path we were treading was fraught with potential consequences, but the exhilaration of it all overshadowed my reservations. I took a deep breath, letting the warmth of the moment envelop me. "Then let's not hold back," I said, my voice steady despite the rapid beating of my heart. With that, I leaned in closer, capturing his lips with mine again, deeper this time, surrendering to the feelings that surged between us. Our kiss ignited a fire within me, a heat that spread through my body like wildfire. I could feel his hands exploring my back, pulling me closer as I lost myself in the sensation of his touch. Every brush of his fingertips sent jolts of electricity coursing through me, awakening something primal and longing within. As we explored each other's mouths, the kiss became a dance of passion, a rhythm that matched the frantic beating of our hearts. I could feel his body reacting, the warmth radiating off him mingling with my own as desire swelled between us. It was intoxicating, overwhelming in the best possible way. With every moment that passed, the air grew thicker, charged with anticipation. I pulled back for a moment, gazing into his eyes, searching for any sign of hesitation, but there was none, only a fierce desire mirrored in his expression. "Are you sure?" I asked again, my voice trembling slightly. I needed to be certain, needed to ensure we were both willing to navigate this uncharted territory together. "I've never been more sure of anything," he replied, his voice low and sincere. "I want you." That was all the encouragement I needed. I closed the distance between us again, capturing his lips in another passionate kiss. The world outside ceased to exist as we surrendered to the heat of the moment. As our kisses deepened, I felt his hands slide down my arms, tracing delicate patterns on my skin before resting at my waist. He pulled me even closer, his warmth enveloping me completely. I felt both vulnerable and powerful in his embrace, intoxicated by the thrill of our connection. In a bold move, I climbed onto the bed beside him, my body instinctively gravitating towards his. The bed was soft beneath us, a perfect sanctuary for our burgeoning desires. We melted into each other, and I could feel the heat radiating from him, igniting a fire within me that demanded to be explored. I leaned back, my heart racing as I took in the sight of him. The dim light accentuated his features, highlighting the sharp angles of his jaw and the intensity of his gaze. He looked almost like a work of art, a masterpiece waiting to be discovered. "God, you're beautiful," I murmured, my voice thick with emotion. I couldn't help but admire him, the way his body moved with a grace that was entirely captivating. A shy smile spread across his lips, but it was quickly replaced by a look of determination. "You're not so bad yourself," he replied, his confidence shining through as he reached out to caress my cheek. The warmth of his touch sent shivers down my spine, igniting every nerve ending. I leaned into his hand, craving the connection. There was something liberating about this moment, a feeling of freedom that had been absent from my life for far too long. I had always held back, conforming to societal norms and expectations, but now I was ready to break free. With newfound courage, I leaned closer, pressing my body against his. The sensation was electric, a magnetic pull that drew us together. I could feel his heartbeat synchronizing with mine, a steady rhythm that matched the rising tide of desire between us. Our kisses became more urgent, more desperate, as if we were trying to consume one another, to fully absorb the intensity of this moment. I could feel his hands exploring my body, tracing the contours of my curves, igniting flames of passion with every touch. "Tell me what you want," he whispered between kisses, his breath hot against my lips. I paused for a moment, my heart racing at the intensity of his question. I could feel the weight of his gaze on me, and it sent a thrill of excitement coursing through me. "I want to lose myself in you," I replied, my voice trembling with desire. "I want to feel everything." His eyes darkened with desire, a spark igniting within him. "Then let's not hold back," he said, his voice low and sultry. With that, he pulled me closer, our bodies melding together as we surrendered to the heat of our connection. I could feel the world around us fading away, leaving only the two of us tangled in a web of passion and desire. As the night unfolded, we explored the depths of our connection, navigating the terrain of our desires with an intensity that felt almost primal. Each touch, each kiss sent waves of pleasure coursing through us, pushing us closer to the edge of bliss. With every whispered word, every stolen touch, we forged a bond that transcended everything else, a connection built on desire, trust, and an undeniable chemistry that bound us together. The thrill of the forbidden only heightened our passion, igniting a fire that burned brighter than anything I had ever known. As dawn began to break, casting a soft light through the window, I lay tangled in his arms, a sense of peace settling over me. I had ventured into uncharted territory, and what I had discovered was more beautiful than I could have ever imagined. We had crossed boundaries, yes, but in doing so, we had found a connection that felt destined. The world outside may have deemed this wrong, but in our hearts, we knew it was right. I glanced up at him, watching as he slept peacefully, a soft smile gracing his lips. In that moment, I realized that sometimes the most beautiful connections arise from the most unexpected places. As I lay there, cocooned in the warmth of his embrace, I knew we were just beginning our journey together. Whatever challenges lay ahead, I was ready to face them hand in hand, heart to heart. With that thought lingering in my mind, I closed my eyes, surrendering to the warmth of the moment, knowing that this was just the beginning of a thrilling adventure we would navigate together. If you enjoyed this story and want to hear more exciting, suspenseful stories like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. There's so much more to come, and I promise you won't want to miss a single moment of it.